This is CS952, Introduction to Web Technologies and Design. And in this module, we're going to learn how to change the background color for a specific page and also change or add a background image to a specific page. So a lot of rules that we've been working with, we've been targeting different elements on the page, but in this case, we want to write a style rule just for the history page. Now, there is an editable region inside the head of your document that's a little bit tough to see. If we look in code view, if we scroll up and down, we can see, oh, well, there's the editable region for our title. And if you notice, right before our title, it says instance begin editable name equals document title. And if we've got our DOM panel open, let's close up our DOM panel. Let's open it up. Now again, we can see, yep, sure enough, there's an instance editable, and inside of it, there's a title. Well, if you scroll down, there's another editable area. You see it listed here in your DOM panel, but if you scroll down here to look at it actually on the page, you just about can't find it at all. Well, it's right here. It's at line 33, and it says instance begin editable name equals head. It's kind of tough to see unless you're specifically looking for it. Now, in the DOM panel, I can click on instance editable. And this is where we're going to, right here, line 33. So let me click on my title. If I have my title selected, notice that when I click on this other one that doesn't really tell you anything about it, doesn't really say what it's for, if I click on it, it drops my cursor right here in between this opening and closing tag. So let's click right there. I'm clicking in code view now, and I can see my cursor starting to flash. I'm going to hit the enter key a couple times to give myself some empty space. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add into this page a style tag. So I'm going to type with the arrow that points to the left, then type style, S-T-Y-L-E. That's got my caps key on. Let's try that again, S-T-Y-L-E. Now I need to close this tag, so I'm going to hold down the shift key and type the arrow that points to the right. Notice we've got that little, the number 34 is red. If I hover over it, Dreamweaver is telling us, well, this tag needs to be paired. We're missing a closing style tag, and that's absolutely true. So let's create a closing style tag. So I'm going to type the arrow that points to the left, and then a /, and as soon as I do that, Dreamweaver figures out, oh, that's what you're looking for. You need a closing style tag, and that is 100% correct. So I'm going to hit refresh. So now we're going to be able to create an internal style rule for this page, or internal style rules. We're going to be adding rules that will only be effective, only be active, only run on this particular page because we're including them inside of this head tag for this page. Now, what would be some of the other uses for this editable region? You might want to add in some more meta tags. Maybe you have some particular meta tags, or I'm not sure what else you might want to add here, but this is an editable region that's unique to each page that you have. I'm going to switch to live view. I'm going to go to live view only, and I'm going to go to my CSS designer, and under my sources, if I click on down, we've got a new source right here at the very end, and this new source we see that just says style. This is that style tag that we added just now to our history page. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. I want to change the background color of the section element on my page. So the procedure is going to pretty much be the same. I'm going to scroll on down, and here is my section element. So in my DOM panel, I have the section element selected. In my CSS designer, I've got style selected. It's not really important whether or not I select global because I have no rules in there now. No media queries, no nothing. If you want to select global, you can. And I'm going to add a new selector. I'm going to hit the plus sign to add a selector. And the selector that Dreamweaver wants to add is body section. We really don't need the body part because everything that's visible on our page, of course, is contained inside the body. So I can hit the up arrow key once, and that's the selector we need, section. And I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so now let's select a background color for our section. So how do I do that? I just click on the background color button. Alright, background color. It's undefined right now. I'm going to click on my color palette, and let's experiment with doing like a variation on this general purple that we're using for our nav bar. So I'm going to click on the eyedropper, and if I drag it over the nav bar, it's filling in for me that particular color purple. If I like the green that we use in our visual media queries, I could choose that too, but or this light blue, any of these. But I'm going with that purple color. So I've been dragging my eyedropper. I'm going to release it now, and you can see that my color picker has loaded that color purple in. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is start with that color purple, but just make it a whole lot lighter, just a very soft shade, just to give a little color, just a little interest to this page. Okay? So I've got that. I'm going to hit enter. And now we've changed the background color for our page. It was that easy. Pretty great stuff, huh? I'm not excited about the way that the table looks because the table is transparent, and you can see now that we've got that kind of purple color there. So to fix the table, so I'm going to create a new selector. So I want to make sure I have my up here I'm going to have style selected, and because this is going to be a rule only for this page, and I'm going to click on global, and I'm going to click on add a selector. So this is the selector that Dreamweaver thinks that we're looking for. It's a very long, complicated selector, and really at the end of the day, all we need is just table, T-A-B-L-E. Now I've got table selected, and now will it let me select a background color? Yep. And when I click on my background color, this is going to be the background color for my table. This would affect any table that's on this page. We only have one table on this page. And I want to make this background color white, so I can scroll all the way up to the top corner. Remember, the color white is pound FF, 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 and I'll hit enter. And now I like this a little bit better. I still get the effects of, as I move with my cursor across here, I can see I've got the gray and the light regions. Table, I like this better. Well, let's go one step further. Let's add a background image to our page. How do we add a background image to our page? So I'm going to go back to my section tag. This section element on the page, this is where the CSS rule let us change the color to that really soft purple color. What if we wanted to change it to an actual image? Well, we would do that with our background image. And you may have a background image you want to use. I have a background image available for us to use. I'm going to go to my Files tab, and in my tutorial folder, I have an image called Mountain Background. And because I've tried to stay really organized, I'm going to drag that over to my Images folder. So I'm keeping all of my images there in the same place. Okay, just made a little move there so I could keep my images organized. So let me go back to my CSS Designer. Now when we wanted to change the background color, not surprisingly enough, we clicked on the background color property. What about the background image? For the background image, it's a little bit different. You actually supply a URL, a path to your image. So I'm going to click on my folder, and it's asking me to select an image source. So I'm going to go to Images, and here it is, Mountain Background, and I'm going to say OK. And now we've got that mountain background added. I'm going to hit F4, which is a shortcut to hide all my panels. And there's a couple things I want to fix. First off, notice this little funny seam here. Well, what's happening is the image is repeating. This is the beginning of my image, and the image is this wide, and then it's starting to repeat the image again. I don't want this image to repeat over and over again. So I'm going to turn off that repeat property. I'll hit F4 again to say don't repeat my image. And I do that right down here. It says background image repeat. If you click on that first little square, that's the no repeat option. So I'll click on that, and let me hit F4 again. Okay, good. Now it's no longer repeating. However, when the image ends, we can see that the fallback color for the page is that soft purple color that we created before. So you can think of if an image doesn't fully cover the page, then a web browser will look, well, what's the default color that I'm going to display if the image isn't big enough to cover the page. What I would like to do is actually have this image stretch all the way as wide as possible, go from all the way from left to right. So how do I fix that? I'm going to hit F4 again so that I can see my different panels. And we have a property of background size, and there's several different ways you can size an image for the background image. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose cover. So when we choose cover, the image will be stretched all the way from left to right to cover horizontally. The other choice is contain, which stretches it from top to bottom. And there's a link that will give you a reference to a page on the W3 schools where they go into more details. They've got some good examples that help illustrate this better. But I'm going to click on cover. Okay. Now let's hit F4 again. This is working for me. I've got my image that goes nicely all the way from left to right. I've got my table here. I'm going to choose to preview in a web browser, and I can do that by hitting F12. And then I'm asked, do I want to save changes to history.html, and I do. Now, it didn't ask me about saving changes to any related files because the only CSS changes that we made were in that page itself, in that special style rule that we created. So let me see, as I resize this, you can see, very nice. Even in mobile view, I'm getting a nice background image. Looks good. And let's just go back to Dreamweaver real quick. And if we go to our code view, we can see up here in the top, this is in the special editable region. We've got our style rule, opening and closing style tags, and you can see the first CSS rule is for our section element, and we've set the background color, the background image, and then we have our other rule for our table. And this rule, because it's written in this page, it's an internal CSS rule, is only going to take effect on this page.